Hi, I'm a guy with plants. My name's Lockie, and welcome back to my channel. Or should I say, welcome for the first time, as this is my first ever YouTube video. Exciting. I'm 19, I live in Perth, Western Australia, and I've always wanted to make YouTube videos, but I've always struggled with trying to find that niche, you know what I mean? Like, whether it's been gaming videos or commentary videos or whatever. I've always struggled with that kind of like, what would my audience be? Where would I find myself? Etc. But it's recently popped into my head, and thanks to a couple extra people who've just been like, Lachlan, why don't you start a YouTube channel? Why don't you could share so much knowledge about your plants? And I mean, they're right. So here we are. A couple things about me. I got into plants about a year ago, thanks to my best friend and housemate at the time, who lives in one of the most zen, lush houses that, I've ever seen. It certainly triggered something deep in my lizard brain to be like, look, you need plants too. I'm by no means an expert myself, but I've definitely progressed past the stage of like bringing a plant home straight from the nursery, repotting it straight away in straight potting mix. So yeah, I consider my skills pretty home hobbyist here, and this channel is most likely going to be a running commentary on my plants, my collection, as well as, tips and tricks that I've learned along the way to getting a lush, lovely indoor garden like this. So for today's video, I thought a fun little introduction to my collection would be just a showcase of some of the plants that I have in my bathroom. Now, the bathroom is a great place to store plants in the home. If you have the right amount of light, then it is generally one of the most humid places in your house. So plants that have a little bit more needy requirements in that domain, whether it be, just having really quiet plants with corrugated leaves, really thin, long leaflets and things, those sorts of things that take a really long time to unfurl. They do a lot better in the bathroom just because you've got that constant moisture and even when the shower's not running, you've got water vapor coming up from the drains and stuff, so it's actually quite a good spot. I'm very fortunate to have I think it's a north-facing window. I'm in Australia, so I'm in the southern hemisphere, but I believe it's a north-facing window, and it gets light for a lot of the day. And there's also where the light comes in, it hits the bathroom mirror like directly. So there's heaps of photons like bouncing around in that room, ready for the plants to just gobble on and turn into carbohydrate. So yeah, it's a great location to transition plants into your home if you have just bought some and you're bringing them back from the nursery and you want to like baby steps introduce them into your home conditions. It's good because it has, like I said, a lot of humidity. So obviously this hinges on space and light. Now I'm fortunate enough to have some shelving that I've got in the room where I can just put some plants. I'm not going to show you the bathroom because it is dirty and it needs a clean. But yeah, I would recommend storing some plants in there if you can. I've got 6, what was that? I've got 6 in the bathroom at the moment, and let's just go through them. Now, this is I'm not sure if you guys can see that quite so well, but this is my Hoya carnosa. This was one of the very first plants I got when I moved to the city. I got it from a local nursery. Always support your local nursery, by the way. Don't just buy from big garden centers, etc. But yeah, so it did nothing for the longest time, and this is a lesson learned in lighting requirements. So these guys need a lot of light. They're very light-handed on the watering situation. So for the longest time, I don't know if you can see, this is the end of the vine here. So this little section here, that used to have like leaves growing out from it, and it did have like a little vine, but it crisped up and dried off the node. So I actually think that was me watering it a bit too much, because every new leaf that it would grow would just fall off. And I think if I had it in any less light than what it already was, it may have gotten root rot and just died on me. So it's a really nice plant. Since I've had it in the bathroom, now this isn't really a humidity thing. I've got it in the bathroom because the bathroom is one of the brighter spots in my house, and I just wanted to give this more light. So yeah, but they will grow much larger leaves and much happier, healthy leaves in more humidity and more brightness. So those 2 leaves it's grown since I've moved there, you can see the difference between that and like the older leaves here. But yeah, so this is my Hoya carnosa. Very super easy plant, just don't water it too much. Keep an eye on it and it should be right. The growth, like I said, if you are giving it the right conditions, will come out and reward you by being that lovely, thick, lush, large leaves. So that's my Hoya carnosa. The next plant I have for you is, which one should we do next? This lovely little beginner plant. This is Lucky Bamboo, and I got this from Aldi. It's got a lovely little pot there. I got this from Aldi when I towards the start of my plant journey. It's grown, it was about here, about this tall when I bought it. It's grown a fair bit and it's got an extra shoot coming off the bottom here. Now, Lucky Bamboo, this is only in the bathroom because it's small and it can fit on top of the toilet. So it's like just there on the toilet. Adds a little bit of greenery whenever you go in, just to relieve yourself at least. But Lucky Bamboo is one of the most indestructible plants I've ever encountered. Like, you don't really need to give this much care at all. They're happy to just do their thing in water. So yeah, I mean, I've given this a little bit of very heavily diluted seaweed solution and stuff before, just to give it that bump, because to me, this doesn't really seem like a lot of room, right? And to me, room obviously doesn't equate to like nutrition. It might be root bound or whatever, but like it's been growing quite heavily. But what I mean is, it just doesn't seem like it would be enough, right? So I've given it a little bit extra just here and there, but it's been fine. There's a bit of like, a bit dusty too. There's a bit of leaf tip browning, but that's just what you get with these guys. That's just part of their natural life cycle. Now, fun fact, probably most of you know this already, but Dracaenas, I've let the cat out the bag there. Bamboo, Lucky Bamboo, isn't actually in the bamboo species, it's a Dracaena. So the more you know. So I got a phone call in between talking about this plant, so I've forgotten exactly what I covered. So I'm just gonna start again. This is my Philodendron tortum. It is a philodendron, so that tells you all you need to know. That's it. Thank you. Hit like and subscribe. No, no. So this is a Philodendron tortum. It's a really lovely plant. I love these really long, spindly, like delicate looking, quite graceful leaves. Some of them have suffered a little bit of damage. Like these are the original leaves. Obviously this guy's looking a bit, how you going? But this is in the bathroom precisely because the leaves look exactly like this. So they are very long, very spaced out in between. If there wasn't enough humidity in the air, these would crisp up on the edges. These would just start falling off and dying. And look, that's obviously not what you want for such a lovely, sexy looking plant. I think it really appreciates the moisture in the bathroom. It's the way that the new leaves come out of this growth spike is also super concerning. So I don't know, it's a bit of a controversial topic, but if any of you have had to perform plant surgery before, you'll know what I'm talking about immediately. But the way that the leaves come out of this growth spike is a little bit concerning sometimes, because the leaves are very delicate when they're new. So it kind of unscrews in this corkscrew kind of fashion. But it's a bit nail biting to watch, because it would be very simple for this plant to suffer some mechanical damage when it's unfurling from its from its growth sheath. So something that I like to do very delicately when this plant is about to shoot out a new leaf is get some tweezers and just very carefully, because it is soul crushing to damage a plant that you're trying to help when you're giving it a little bit of surgery, but very carefully with tweezers, I will like pull the sheath off. I'm getting that phone call again. So, the next plant I have for you guys, I'm running out, hey. The next plant I have for you guys is this Kangaroo Fern. It's not very spectacular, but you probably wouldn't guess this, but this plant is like 18 months old. This plant is hell old. I've had it for a really long time. It's one of the very first plants that I got on my plant journey. I got it from a family member just as a cutting. And it was only in a very small nursery pot. It sat in its nursery pot for months, for about 4 months, didn't grow a single leaf. And then I was just like, you know, I'm gonna chuck you out if you don't have any roots or anything, because I'm just done waiting. So I took it out of its little nursery pot and it looked like the roots had been compacted or squished a little bit. So maybe it wasn't growing because the plant thought that it was root bound. It wasn't. Maybe it thought that, but it wasn't. But then I had it in a pot that was way too big, and the same problem happened where it just didn't grow. It didn't do anything for months and months and months. And then eventually I got so sick of it, but at the same time, I was like, I've had this for so long. I can't just chuck it out. I have to like stick with it. It's not dead. It's not dying. Like the leaves just didn't do anything. There was no growth. But I put it in this pot, and 3/4 of the leaves, so everything, all of these leaves on this side of the plant, on this side are new growth since I've had it in this pot. And it's got really lovely, like, different leaves. So it's got this 3-pronged one here, another 3-pronged one there. Like it can be a single strand, or like 2 or whatever. It's just a really nice kind of like average kind of fern. I think it's native to Australia. I think that's maybe why it's called a kangaroo fern, but I'm not entirely sure. It's got a little bit of crisping, but this was from its time outside of the bathroom, so I'm not too worried about that. These are its original leaves. It's kept them for a really long time, which has had me surprised. But yeah, so that's that. That's this kangaroo fern. Pretty self-explanatory as to why this one's in the bathroom, because most of the time in your house, if a fern's gonna do well, it's gonna do well in a bathroom or somewhere near a sink, near some sort of water source. Every other fern that I have in my home just slowly crisps up and dies. Even though my humidity is like 50, 60, it's just not enough for a lot of ferns. But this one's been doing heaps good since I moved it into the bathroom. And yeah, I would recommend this one if you guys are looking for a nice, simple care fern. It's not too dramatic. It's never, like it's lost a little bit of crisping, but it's never lost whole leaves to it or anything like that. Yeah. It was just on standby mode for a really, really long time, so yeah. Now this one's my favorite. It's a bit of a controversial one because I can understand why not everyone would like it, but it's a begonia. It's the Begonia Tiger Paw. So I'll just hold it up to the camera a little bit better so you guys can see it, but obviously there's gonna be some other footage. But this is a begonia, obviously, of the Rex variety, given it's like leaves like this. But I got this from a local nursery not long ago, actually. And to me, this plant looks like the most carnivorous plant I have ever seen that's not carnivorous. It's got these little hairs on its sides of its leaves and this hairy stalks. It just looks like it's gonna jump out and attack you. But it's just so nice. The coloring is really nice. It's really happy. I've only watered it a couple times since I've had it. I haven't repotted it, obviously. This is the pot that it came in. Same with my Tortum and my Hoya. I haven't repotted either of those. But yeah, it's got some new growth coming out the back here. Like begonias, I used to be a hard no begonia person. I thought all begonias were ugly. I didn't like the way that their leaves looked. Like some of the Rex varieties can just be a bit too Alice in Wonderland for my taste. But this looks like it just popped up somewhere in the pavement out in Fukushima or like Chernobyl or something. It looks like a radioactive little Pokemon. I just love it. I've only got a couple begonias in my collection because yeah, most of them don't do it for me, but I'm starting to dip my toes into the begonia waters. You know what I mean? Like starting to dabble a little bit. It's got this lovely kind of insignificant flower up here. I'm not sure if you quite can see it. But yeah, this is just a happy little plant guy. And obviously he's in the bathroom because begonias are quite demanding when it comes to humidity. Especially this one because you can see it's got all these little fine hairs on the plant. So those are the first things that are going to disappear or crisp up if it's somewhere that doesn't have the right amount of humidity. And I could tell when I bought this that it would need a Divas location, a Divas spot, just so that it could be the best that it was going to be. But yeah, there's one plant I forgot to show you. It's not really that spectacular and I don't even really know what it is. It's an orchid. I don't have any information on what type of orchid it is. I believe the flowers are purple when they come out, but I'm just excited about this plant because it's an orchid that my best friend who actually originally got me into plants, it's a plant that she got me when I was sad about a boy. And I've had it for over a year now and it's about to rebloom. So if you can see on the stalk there, it's got all of these blooms coming and there's some more growing out here. There's a huge stalk here with 2 extra stalks growing out. I'm very excited about this one. The trick with orchids, if you want to keep them alive, because a lot of people treat them as annuals or whatever, is you need to repot it. You need to repot it in, most of the time they're sold in sphagnum moss. But you need to repot it in orchid chips or orchid bark because yeah, they're not designed to last in that sphagnum moss. They're mostly sold because people just chuck them out as soon as the flowers are expired. So yeah, if you want a plant to just like, you do have to deal with this just bare for maybe 8 to 9 months. At least that's what mine did. This was it was just in this cup, which it came in, with leaves, and it didn't really look that interesting. It didn't really look that exciting. But when it's very rewarding for a plant like this to come back and grow and give you, you know, those juicy new blooms. Like this one's gonna be so pretty when it opens. But yeah, no, obviously this is in the bathroom. It's actually above the shower, right above the shower on the exhaust fan. It gets steam directly on it. It doesn't get that much direct sun, but it's in a very sunny spot. Yeah, orchids are very high light, but not direct light obviously, but like they're very high light requirements and humidity requirements. So as well, the more humidity that you have, the longer your flowers are gonna last. So, I mean, once they have bloomed, maybe pop them in the shower or in the bathroom if you wanna have it for a little bit longer. But yeah. And with that, that is my last plant that I have on my bathroom showcase. So I hope that you enjoyed the video. I hope that it maybe brought some of the benefits of putting your plants in the bathroom to light. And I hope that you will join me in my next video, my second YouTube video of all time. Haven't decided what it's going to be yet, but yeah, like, share and subscribe if you have enjoyed your time here. Thank you. See ya.